at the scene of a crime. Your phone rings. The police officer says someone broke into a store and took some expensive items. They need you right away. It is your job to study the whole scene for clues that will help catch the thief. You are a crime scene investigator, and the game is on. Outside the store, you see a broken window, some glass on the street, shoe prints, and marks made by a vehicle's tires. You look at the shoe prints. They're large, so you're likely looking for a man. You photograph the shoe's pattern. This can tell you the type of shoe. You then measure the space between the shoe prints. You now know how long the man's steps were. This gives you an idea of how tall he was. As you follow the shoe prints over to the tire marks, they get farther away from each other. They lead to the passenger side of the vehicle. Now you know the man probably didn't work alone. You photograph the tire marks. They can help you find out what type of vehicle it was and the direction it went in. On the case. The most important clues will come from a person's body. The person who broke in left a little of himself behind. In the store, you find some fingerprints. Using a computer, you can compare these prints against millions of others. In the store, there is a lot more glass. Then you find something else. A hair. You keep this because you know hair contains a person's DNA. You can compare this with other people's DNA too. If you find a match for the fingerprint or the DNA, you will know who was in the store. Will you find the thief? You now have a lot of information, so it's possible. For a crime scene investigator, it's all in a day's work.
The Disease Detective. 6 children were in the hospital. They were very sick, but the doctors didn't know what to do. They called Dr. Richard Bessar, an expert on strange illnesses. Dr. Bessar knew just what to do. Finding a cause. First, Dr. Bessar needed to find the cause of the illness. He used a microscope to look for germs like bacteria in the children's bodies. Dr. Bessar found that all the children had a strain of the bacteria E. coli. Then he looked at the bacteria's DNA. The DNA showed him that this strain of E. coli was dangerous to humans. Where did it come from? Dr. Bessar knew E. coli could move from animals to humans. Perhaps the children had touched animals that carried the bacteria. Bessar found other E. coli cases in the area where the children lived. But it wasn't enough. Bessar then made a list of what the sick children had eaten. They had all eaten cheese, apple juice, and fish. He then made a list of what healthy children in the area had eaten and compared his lists. They had eaten the cheese and fish, but not the apple juice. Case closed. Bessar went to where the apple juice was made. He saw that there were animals around the apple trees, and he saw the workers using dirty apples that had fallen on the ground. More importantly, he saw that the apples were not washed before the juice was made, and that the juice was not heated. Doing these things would kill the bacteria. Bessar then knew it was the apple juice that made the children sick. Bessar's E. coli case has a happy ending. The children got better, and what Bessar learned that day now helps keep others safe.
Who was Sacagawea? There are more statues of her than any other American woman. Her face is on a U.S. coin. Clearly, she was an important person. But what do we know about the real Sacagawea? Sacagawea was part of a Native American tribe called the Shoshone. At the age of 13, she was taken away by people from the Hidatsa tribe. She was living among the Hidatsa when Meriwether Lewis and William Clark met her in 1804. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were map makers. These pioneers were exploring the western part of the U.S. Because Sacagawea spoke two different Native American languages, they asked her to travel with them, along with her husband and baby son. Sacagawea became an important part of the group and helped the explorers in many ways. For example, on May 14, 1805, a strong storm tipped over one of their boats. Sacagawea stayed calm. She acted quickly and was able to save many of the maps and other things from the water. Her actions saved important knowledge from being lost. As they traveled, Sacagawea helped Lewis and Clark talk to the Native American people in each village they visited. She helped the explorers make friends among the Native Americans so they could trade with them. She also helped Lewis and Clark find a way across the mountains to the Pacific Ocean and helped them find food on the way. Sacagawea died when she was about 25. Sadly, we don't know much more about this amazing woman. But 200 years later, she is remembered as an important woman in U.S. history.
Polar Pioneer. Matthew Henson, Arctic explorer. Robert Peary and Matthew Henson both wanted to be great explorers. When Peary needed someone to join him on his trip to the North Pole, he thought of Henson. They had once worked together in Central America. At the time, it was unusual for an African American to be a well-known explorer. Henson wanted to change that. So, though he knew the trip would be hard, he agreed to go. First, they traveled by ship to Greenland. The members of Peary's team lived among the Inuit people there. The Inuit called Henson Maripaluk, Matthew the Kind One. Henson learned their language. The Inuit taught him how to live outdoors on the ice, find food, build igloos, make snowshoes, and drive dog sleds through the snow and ice to the top of the world. Between 1891 and 1906, the Peary-Henson team made 7 attempts to get to the North Pole. Each time, they learned hard lessons about the dangers there. Sleds broke, dogs died, men got hurt. They got close to the North Pole, but they always had to go back. In 1909, they decided to make one more attempt. Peary and Henson found themselves within 56 kilometers, 35 miles of the North Pole. Peary sent Henson ahead. Henson made a trail through the snow for Peary to follow. Peary followed 45 minutes later. "I think I am the first man to sit on top of the world," Henson told Peary. The team returned home as heroes. Both men's dreams had come true. They were the first explorers to reach the North Pole.
The meaning of dreams. Did you have any interesting dreams last night? Our dreams come from a part of the brain that contains our thoughts and memories. A person can have up to 6 dreams a night, and each dream usually lasts from 10 to 40 minutes. Everyone dreams, but not everyone remembers their dreams. Most people dream in color, usually with sound. And we usually dream about ourselves and the people we know. Why do we dream? Alan Siegel is a scientist who studies dreams. Dreams help us get in touch with our deeper feelings, he says. They can tell us a lot about ourselves and can help us figure out problems. Another scientist, Robert Stickgold, thinks dreams come from our memories. He believes we dream to remember, because memories are useful to the brain. Stickgold says the purpose of dreaming through these memories is to help us learn from the past. Here are a few types of dreams and what people think they mean. Dream 1. You meet someone while in your pajamas. Sometimes people dream that they meet someone they know while wearing their underwear or nothing at all. This dream may be the result of an embarrassing event in your life. Some people think we dream about embarrassing situations if our brains are trying to deal with an event in our own lives. Dream 2. You're flying. If you dream about flying, you are probably quite happy. This is a good period in your life. You may feel that other people see you as a leader. Dream 3. You didn't study for a test. This probably means you are worried about an important event coming in your life. If you're not prepared for the event, your dream may be telling you it's time to get to work.
Seeing the impossible. Can you believe everything you see? Not always. Sometimes our minds and our eyes make mistakes. At other times, our eyes and minds can become confused. This may be because we are looking at something called an optical illusion. The word optical means related to sight, the way we see things with our eyes. An illusion is something that looks different from the way it really is. In short, an optical illusion is a kind of trick that our eyes play on us. Look at these optical illusions and compare what you see with what your classmates see. The way we see things is often personal, so you may not see things the same way as someone else. So, can you trust your eyes? Perhaps the answer is sometimes. Sometimes our eyes see something and our minds understand it easily. At other times, we may need to look twice. Which red dot is larger? Most people say it's the dot on the left. Now measure the dots. The red dot on the left may seem larger because of the small blue dots around it, but they're really the same size. Look at this picture. What do you see? Do you see a cup or do you see two faces? Now look again. The illusion shows two different images at the same time. Therefore, our minds have to choose which image to look at. Scientists think this choice is difficult because different parts of your brain are getting different information. One part sees the cup, and another part sees the faces, so the image keeps changing. Are the circles moving? When you stare at this picture, your mind may tell you that the circles are moving, but this is impossible. How can a picture move? Some people think the circles seem to move because often when we see circle-in-circle shapes, like in car wheels or snake bodies, they are usually moving. Our brains are used to seeing these shapes move, so when our eyes see this shape, our mind infers that the image is moving. Other scientists believe the illusion of movement is caused by the tiny movements of our eyes as we look at the different colors and patterns of the picture.
A penguin family. Emperor penguins are the largest penguins on Earth. Each adult is over a meter tall and can weigh up to 40 kilograms. For many months each year, emperors live near the sea in large groups called colonies. However, in May, the weather gets colder and ice covers large areas of ocean. Each colony moves many kilometers from the water. There, each mother penguin lays just one egg. Then, all the hungry mothers must walk back to the ocean to find food. The father penguins put their eggs on top of their feet, under a special piece of skin called the brood pouch, sharing the work. For 2 months, the father penguins keep the eggs safe and warm. They do this through some of the coldest weather conditions on Earth. By July, it is winter in Antarctica. Most animals leave for warmer places, but the father penguins stay. In this time, without food, a father penguin can lose almost half of his body weight. New life. By August, the babies begin to hatch. The mother penguin returns just in time to see her baby come out of its egg. The chick is then moved to her brood pouch. This can be difficult. If the chick falls, it can freeze quickly, so the penguin parents must be very careful. Once this is done, the father penguin can go back to the ocean to find food. Growing up. Over the next few months, penguin parents take turns going to the ocean for food. They each make the trip several times, bringing back food for the chick. The chick grows quickly and is always hungry. Into the water. By December, winter is ending. The chick is 5 months old and can live on its own. Soon it enters the water for the first time. It will swim and eat until next April, and then return here. After a few more years, it too will start its own family.
Do animals laugh? We know animals have emotions. They can feel fear. We also think they feel love, since they have strong relationships with each other. So are animal emotions all similar to our own? And do animals have a sense of humor? A parrot named Bongo Marie. Sally Blanchard's parrot, Bongo Marie, didn't get along with her other parrot, Paco. In fact, Bongo Marie clearly didn't like Paco at all. One day, Blanchard cooked a chicken for dinner. She started to cut the chicken with a knife. "Oh no, Paco!" Bongo Marie said loudly and laughed. Blanchard laughed too and said, "That's not Paco." "Oh no," said Bongo Marie. This time she sounded disappointed. Then the parrot laughed at her own joke. Yoga dog. Jean Donaldson enjoys doing yoga, and so does her dog Buffy. While Jean Donaldson does yoga, Buffy carefully places her toys on Donaldson's body. If a toy falls, Buffy runs to put it back. Does this behavior have any real purpose? She thinks it's hilarious, says Donaldson. Animal laughter. Can dogs laugh? Recent research shows that dogs can tell each other when they want to play. They make a special sound, a kind of laugh. Psychologist Patricia Simonet recorded the sound. Then she played it back to dogs to assess their behavior. All the dogs seemed to like the laugh, says Simonet. So, do animals have a sense of humor? If laughter is a clue, then perhaps the answer is yes.